day and also how the first couple of days in the hospital went for me. So I decided to start my inpatient stay when I reached 26 weeks in one day. My 26 weeks landed on a Sunday, so I just decided to go the next day. With MoMo Twins, they typically suggest you to go between 24 and 28 weeks. I thankfully had a very uncomplicated pregnancy, so both my OB doctor and my MFM doctor completely left it up to me on deciding when to go in. You know, if you're having other complications during your pregnancy, I'm sure your doctors will tell you, you know, when you should go in and help you with the decision. Mine was thankfully uncomplicated, so they just left it up to me. 24 weeks seemed a little early. My MFM doctor explained to me that the monitoring sessions, called the NSTs, that you go through, sometimes the babies are a little too small to even be able to catch them on the monitor at 24 weeks. So that kind of helped me make the decision. I was like, well, 24 seems a little early, and 28 definitely seems risking it too much, a little too late. So I just decided to go in the middle at 26. So I went in at 26 weeks in one day. And it was a crazy day. So I'll explain my experience. Everyone else's is going to be completely different. So mine, I showed up at noon that Monday with my boyfriend. Thankfully, with COVID and everything, he was allowed to come with me. So I showed up. There was a little bit of time with them finding me in the system and everything. So I was just kind of sitting there for a bit. And then they finally got us into our room. They gave me a gown to put on. And then they, you know, asked you 1,000,001 questions. And then they started the first monitoring session. Basically, with those, what they do is they'll have like 3 monitors, 2 for the baby, so 1 for each baby, and then 1 for contractions. So, you know, they find baby A's heartbeat, then they find baby B's heartbeat, and then they put the contraction one in there, then they kind of strap it down. So typically, you know, you can't really move. If you move, the babies might move. The doctor's call really depends on for how long. You could probably do like 20 minutes at first, but my babies were way too active, so they ended up doing it for an hour each time. So it would be an hour for every monitoring session that I would have to sit there, you know, make sure you're comfortable so that they monitor the babies. So yeah, that was my first day. We did all that. I had a little bit different of an experience because the next day when we woke up, a doctor came in and told us that we would be transferred to another hospital. And that was something that in my planning for months I didn't even consider happening. It was unfortunately due to COVID. He came in and told us that one of the head members of the NICU staff had just gotten COVID. So if my babies were to have happened to have decided to come that day, there would not be, you know, full staffing to make sure the babies were taken care of. That's how it was explained to me. It was crazy. They ended up transferring us to a hospital that was an hour and a half away from our home. So it was honestly kind of traumatic to me. That affected a lot of stuff, like my boyfriend being able to go back and forth just 15 minutes up the road to do laundry. For him and my parents to be able to bring us food. It affected his work because just me wanting to have someone with me and him wanting to be with me as well, it's a lot easier to do that with a hospital stay that's 15 minutes from your house compared to a hospital that is an hour and a half away. So my first day of inpatient was a little crazy. I hope no one has to ever experienced that. It's something I didn't plan for. It was honestly a little traumatic to me, so I hope no one has to go through that. But we got to the hospital that I was being transferred to, and then I just kind of started the process all over again. So I kind of had 2 first days. They asked me all the questions. They got us in a room. They gave me a gown to put on. But then as soon as I got there, they started the magnesium and the steroid shots. So basically what these are is the magnesium is an IV drip for 12 hours. And the steroid shot is a steroid to help the baby's lungs. It is a shot that goes in your butt. So you get that, and then I believe it was 12 or 24 hours later you get the second shot. But that magnesium drip is 12 hours. So it's 12 hours, unfortunately, where you can't move. I really can't sugarcoat it. It was honestly the worst 12 hours of my life. So basically, to get you all set up for that, they have to put the IV in you, of course, for the magnesium. And then they put some compression on your legs because since you can't move for 12 hours, they want to make sure you don't get any blood clots. And then they had the blood pressure cuff on your arm. And then unfortunately, they have to put a catheter in you because you can't get up to go to the bathroom. And then you also have the monitors on the babies for the whole 12 hours. So you have a lot of stuff connected to your body during this magnesium IV drip. And then that also helps the baby's brain development, I believe. So that's the point of it. But yeah, so for 12 hours, you're just kind of laying there. My back was killing me because I couldn't really move. You have to be on a liquid diet. So I was getting hungry, but the only thing you could really get to eat was like broth or popsicles or Jello. And the magnesium can make you hot and it can make you nauseous. Both did happen to me. I was hot about 30 minutes into it. I had to ask for a fan and I had to get like wet cloths. So for anyone who has to go through this in the future, my suggestion would just be go ahead and ask for a fan in the room because I got really, really hot. And then I did get nauseous one time, but it was probably about 5 hours into it. But I will say I think that happened because I asked for a popsicle and it was a really, really sweet popsicle. So of course everyone's bodies are different, but I would probably suggest maybe not even in the popsicles for myself if I would have known that because I was fine until I tried to eat that. But yeah, it's 12 hours of that. It's worth it to help the babies, but it was probably, like I said, it was the worst 12 hours of my life. So thankfully, once the 12 hours is up, they come in and take everything off you, and then they make sure you can make it to the bathroom by yourself, of course, without falling. The first time I stood up after that magnesium, I felt like I was going to fall over. But yeah, that was how I decided when to go inpatient and how my first day went. Subscribe, like, comment. Please let me know if you've gone through this. And yeah, this is Ashley with Twin Mom Journey.